Bo-Felili, Bo-Fellow. This is the beginning of a famous song or jig from the Creole culture of St. Lucia, which starts Bo-Felili, Bo-Fellow. But have you ever wondered about the famous adventurers and merchants and pirates written in the fairy tales? Where does the inspiration for these characters come from? So let me tell you, sit back and let me tell you a story of a real character or a real man who made his way into the West Indies in 1768 and was lost at sea, as recorded in the courthouses by a witness named Girard, Mr. Francois Girard. Mr. Francois Girard says that in 1768 he saw Mr. Louis Balthazar Beffelot lost his life at sea, together along with Mr. Papin Baronet. He testifies that between the channel of Martinique and St. Lucia, he saw the ship explode with materials being thrown into the air, and all hands and cargo was lost at sea. He says that Mr. Papin and Mr. Beffelot were both on board the ship and nobody made it out alive. Ironically, that channel between Martinique and St. Lucia was used by a famous pirate called Jean de Bois, or Pegleg. His name was Francois Leclerc, and that was in around 1568. So 200 years later, you have Mr. Girard testifying that Mr. Beffelot and Mr. Papin were both lost at sea in between that channels. Now, he said they were on a corsair that exploded and all the materials was thrown into the air. Now, a corsair is a romanticized word for a pirate. So corsairs were given lettres de marque, or letters of marque, so that they may fight and take cargo under the French flag. So basically, they were pirates flying the French flag. So they were romanticized as corsairs and not pirates. So there you go. And then he states that Mr. Balthazar Beffelot got lost at sea between the channel of Martinique and St. Lucia while traveling. It is also stated that when he spoke about this with a slave girl named Suzanne, who was from the estate of Mr. Balthazar Beffelot, she stated, "Could you please tell the parents of Mr. Beffelot that their son had passed away in the sea?" So there you go, a real life story of a gentleman merchant who made his way to the seven seas, or to the West Indies, and was lost at sea in between the channel of Martinique and St. Lucia. And the story is being told by an adventurer cut from the mold of maybe from Beauty and the Beast, where you have the gentleman named Gaston telling stories about how his travels around the world and adventures, and people were sitting down and listening and watching to see that. Well, if you like the content, don't forget to stay tuned, and stay tuned for more. Hit the bell icon, subscribe, and also tell me what you think. Do you think that Mr. Beffelot actually died, or that Mr. Girard was asked to tell a story so that Mr. Beffelot could disappear? Stay tuned for more content. Il écrit quoi?